Arsenal should be able to challenge. But I don't think Liverpool can win the league. I forgot about the club effect. I don't think they have the defensive and the central midfield qualities to sustain their charge. Yes, up front sometimes they have that fire to put teams under pressure. But when the Chiefs are, I don't think Liverpool has what it takes to win the league this season. And having said that, City doesn't look like the City that we know. I know many say that's how they usually start, but I don't think I've ever seen City on the 4th position in the league in the last 5 years, regardless of what our season it is. So there's a chance there for Arsenal. Chelsea doesn't look like a team that's going to bounce back. Newcastle, we know, is faltering and going to continue to falter. The United doesn't look like they're ready this season. So if there's any year that, like I've said from the beginning of the season, that Arsenal has a chance of winning the league, is this season. So, and I expect Arteta and they to do something in this January to try to strengthen that squad, especially going forward. Because Chioma, you have come again, please.
How did I come? I said it here that they were too tall for Champions League. So people were saying, oh, what do you mean? After 20 years, this one. I said, no, these are not the people that we want to play Champions League with.
Transit TV.
Now look at it. See how they went. So sad.
Welcome back to Ready Football Show. We're back again after I think 1 week break. Sorry, Avias, it's been a hell of a week for me. Me and Odunze, we are involved in a very massive event in Houston. The Houston Green Eagles. We were in charge of putting together their first ever end of the year get together stroke awards night. Yeah, awards for community development partners, Hall of Fame, and all that. So, sorry, but we're back again. And again, it coincided with some very roller coaster results in EPL last week. Good to have Nimi talk about this one. Chelsea has had a very difficult week. Everton losing to Everton 2-0 and also losing to United. Who did we lose to? United 2-1 in 1 week. I don't know if Poch is staying or leaving. Arsenal, on the other hand, lost their first spot to Liverpool after losing 1-0 controversially to Aston Villa. City on 4th position. I don't think I've seen them in that position in a long time in EPL. Is this the beginning of the new in EPL? We're going to find out. Liverpool, of course, are topping the league at the moment, 1 point ahead of Arsenal. So we are here today to look at, of course, we know that with this midweek as well, the first round of the group stages of the UCL was concluded and 2 English teams are out while 2 progressed. As a matter of fact, the 2, that's United and Newcastle, are completely out of Europe. They couldn't even make it to the Europa this time around, while Arsenal and City finished top in their groups, surprisingly. I remember the beginning of season, many were saying that Arsenal will just qualify for the sake of qualifying. United was still to probably go far. Even Newcastle looked like the real deal in Champions League in the beginning after securing the first game, having a draw with AC Milan in Italy and coming home to beat PSG 3-0. Many thought that they were destined for the next round of the Champions League, but unfortunately, we know how that has ended. And we'll be looking forward as well to the games coming up in the weekend. Guys, you are welcome to the show. Mimi, good to see you, bro.
First of all, I'm happy to be here. It's been a while. Reggie left us to Chicago to eat all the money. Just want to let you know, if you guys want to catch anybody, catch Reggie. We don't have anything here with us, but thank you for having us. It's been a sober weekend. Every week, I'm just like an orphan right now. Really, Chelsea has taken the light out of my face. I'm just sad.
It's Chioma. Welcome to the show. Good to see you again. And today we are on Afro. You know, what's behind you? Is it, are you they look for Chelsea or the qualification to Champions League next round? What's this look for? What's behind this look?
Okay, well, I took myself back to the 1960s when people were happy, you know, when the sky was actually blue, like my lovely Chelsea people. Well, in solidarity to what Nini said, we're all very sober today because Chelsea losing back to back.
We're having problem with your internet. Give me your bad belly down there. Just scatter my internet.
To be doing that.
Yeah, so we'll start ahead fresh. Sorry, I don't know what happened to my internet. It's just yanked off.
Okay.
Yeah, good to be back. Chioma, you were saying something. I was asking you about your afro. What's behind it this time?
I'll tell you, I just came out from a 1960 adaptation of Celebration of Beauty and the Color of Christmas. And just like Nimi said, we're just all sober because of Chelsea. Yeah, back to back, Wahala, Newcastle going out of the Champions League like that. And Arsenal versus Aston Villa game. I have a lot on my mind, so yeah. But I'm so excited.
Yeah, good to be here. I've missed you guys, man. I've missed this show. It was so much to talk about in the last 1 week, and unfortunately, we're not able to have the show. Like I said, it was a very busy week for me and Osborne because we were, behind a very massive event in Houston, which name is. I was surprised. Chioma, you won't believe it that Nimi was actually reaching out to me. Say, hey, what's going on? No more podcast.
No. Let me explain. That day, I was about buying my flight to London to go and confront some of the players, and I said I need to vent. So if I go by, as you can see, Osborne is on his way. Osborne is on his way 22 kilometers, 22,000 miles. He's going to London now to go and confront Ateta.
Yeah, no, we're happy with you.
Good to see you, Osborne, man. Good to see you. Welcome back to the show. I was just telling our viewers that the last 1 week has been a very busy week for you and I, being involved in the event that we had in Houston. But it's good to be back. And
with the event that Nimi refused to show up in. Nimi.
Yeah, I just told him I didn't see him.
Osborne and Reggie, you would understand. That Saturday, I don't know if you knew, we had our Monkey Post tournament. So I had my team that Reggie, you saw the flyer posted on the chat. I had my team Sharks of Port Harcourt that I was sponsoring all my players. Our first match against 3SC, Shooting Stars, we drew. The second, I didn't play that game. The second match, they were like, Nimi, take it easy. I substituted these young boys. And I went in and I met Cyrus one-on-one. Also, you know Cyrus now. Reggie, you know Cyrus.
Yeah.
So they gave him small space. And he took me on a stretch. The next thing I heard was, bap. My hamstring, I collapsed on the field there. They had to come take me. So I'm still in pain right now.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Wow, sorry, man.
It's not easy. I was in pain. You could ask
when we get in the pitch, it's not to focus on the game. You are thinking about Chelsea and stuff.
Sometimes you look at these soccer players and you say they can't do it. Let me go show them how to do it.
I know.
And I go there. I wanted to do Kaised to hold that midfield down, and Cyrus just went.
No, on the contrary, I had a very good game on Saturday. Ask Osborne, our opponent. Osborne, I think you're on my side. Yeah, we won our game the morning before we went for
just got two beautiful goals, man.
Oh man, that ball that game will be really slow, with Reggie and Osborne and the thing.
Nini, just try one Saturday, come to Guinea Goes. Just try one day, just come. Professionals have come, active pros have come, and they can't cope with the test.
Soccer is played on the beach. It's not played with mouse.
Well, like.
Yeah, so let's start. Nimi. Yeah, last weekend Everton beat Chelsea. I don't know where that result came from, 2-0. And I don't know. Talk us through that game. What's been going on? How did you see that game? Touch on it briefly. And of course, United came again and beat Chelsea as well, 2-1. So Chelsea losing 2 on a bounce.
Yeah. Yeah. So where do I start from? The United game, it was something had to give in that United game. United never loses. They never draw. Chelsea, when they go against teams that come out, they usually play well. They come up with draws. Something had to give. I looked at that game again, inconsistency. A lot of inconsistencies in the team. Jackson missing goals, the same thing all over again. Again, we just beat Brighton with 10 players. We go to Manchester United and it's just inconsistent. We made Manchester United look like prime Barcelona. Yeah, no, prime Barcelona, tiki-taka.
Just say Arsenal.
And after that game, I was thinking there was going to be a bounce against Everton. But remember, Chelsea struggles against teams that sit back. I'll just go into the game. That was a very flat performance. And you look at the players on the field for Chelsea, none of them gave consistently, not even 60 minutes of good form. You can't go through a whole game against a motivated team like Everton that just had 10 points taken off them, trying to escape relegation with that kind of flat performance. Let's go through the goals. Because when things happen, I go through the goals. I go through how did this come up? You go through the goals, and I'm a huge fan of Gallagher. I know how many times Chioma has talked about what is Gallagher.
I love him.
But I'm a huge fan of Gallagher. But that was a woeful defending from him. In 1725, that kind of performance could have made him get nailed on the cross in the town square, because he let that player Neil move from the defense. Why not kick him and get a yellow card for the team? He let him. He didn't have a yellow card, but let the Everton player slide past through him. For God's sake, it wasn't a yellow card. This was a primary school mistake. And when Neil passed through him, he passed that ball, and that first goal came. The second goal, again, you have to look at the goalkeeper. You have to look at the goalkeeper. You have to look at Petrovic. That was a calamitous defending. First of all, the guy I call disastrous disaster should have timed this header, but he mistimed the header and it went to a corner kick. And then you have a goalkeeper that comes in, that couldn't grab. That was a ball. I'm a goalie. He could have grabbed that ball. It's so funny. Chelsea has 2 tall goalkeepers, but none of them can control their boxes. Sanchez has been suspect all through the season with balls coming to his box, aerial possessed balls. Petrovic comes in and is shaky too. He punches the ball straight to the Everton player in the box. To summarize this, Chelsea were as bad, even worse than the Newcastle game. They didn't show no passion, no energy, no fight. But again, you have to give credit to the Everton team. They came with a proper strategy, and you all will agree, this is a proper Sean Dyche team. Yeah. Now we are seeing a proper, I know some few weeks, I don't know if it was Reggie or Osborne were talking about what does Sean Dyche bring. You're seeing a proper Sean Dyche game. He came in with a strategy, if you observe, to frustrate Chelsea players, to give them as little space as possible. And it helped Everton. It helped because they were making very rash tackles. Again, that was going unpunished by the referee. So once that was happening, the whole Chelsea players were frustrated and they put their heads down. Everything was a more combative, more assertive, and they deserved to win. I'm a Chelsea fan. I am worried at the level of performance this team is going. You know, it's been 6 months with Pochettino, and I'm not seeing. We talk about Sean Dyche. Now you can see Sean Dyche's style of play. I'm not seeing anything that will make me, as a Chelsea fan, say Pochettino has plans. As a matter of fact, the team has retrogressed even more than the Potter era. Points per game, we have gone down. We're not doing well. The future does not look good.
Let me ask you. So there's this talk that Chelsea has recruited, talented players. It's just a matter of time for them to gel and stuff. Do you think Chelsea actually recruited talented players?
No. Don't let nobody deceive you or say that. We recruited average players. For example, Nicholas Jackson I told my Chelsea friends, Nicholas Jackson is a starter for Luton, Sheffield United, Bournemouth, those kind of teams. He's going to be a backup in Aston Villa, Brighton, and those mid-table teams. For a team that wants to challenge for Champions League, that wants to go, Nicholas Jackson will be like a third choice striker, but he's our first choice striker. So you look at Mudryk, Arteta, I will never forgive Arsenal. They just used that one shine stone, took how many £1 million from our head. The guy can't even trap a ball. You look at Enzo and Caicedo midfield, it's just waste. You look at the defense, Corwell, how the hell is Corwell standing there? Like, there's so many things with the Chelsea team. I just think Pochettino, I'm really sad, but we have to go through the games. And that's why when the season started with the podcast, I did say, I don't know if you guys remember, Chelsea is so inconsistent that they will not even make top 8. Remember, I gave my top 8 teams. Chelsea is not part of the top 8. And
I think it was Tony that said that we'll see the Pochettino Chelsea in October. And actually, in October, Chelsea got some very good results. I thought his prediction was going to come to pass, and it went back. Osborne, most of the time when a team does well, everybody calls the manager a magician, this, that. Where is Poch in all this?
That's a very good question. And I would just say the jury is out. Personally, I've been a bit puzzled. Pochettino is a coach that I rated what he did at Tottenham. Then he left Tottenham. But I was concerned at some point about him at Tottenham because in spite of all the tools that he had and what he did, bringing the team up to a certain level, he still couldn't get them over that hurdle enough to win trophies for them. Ended up not winning trophies for them, went to PSG, which turned out to be a disastrous stint for him. And then he came back and came to Chelsea. So the way that I see Pochettino is a solid coach, a solid developmental coach that can actually form a team if given time, a team that's credible and strong. I am not very sure how ruthless he can be. That edge that certain managers have that helps them win trophies. I haven't seen that edge with Pochettino. But again, I would say he was at Tottenham, and Tottenham are the epitome of also runs. So I wouldn't want to judge him based on Tottenham. He has that chance now at Chelsea, being a club that is well known for going after trophies strictly. He has a chance to exercise the ghost of his time at Spurs and actually use the tools that he has at Chelsea to win something. But having said that, now, if you come into a place, after 6 months, there should be some level of stamp that the fans can hold on to and say, hey, this is the right man for us. Or, there may be a division between the fans. Some may say this is not the right man. But a lot of fans will say, hey, based on what of this and this and this and this, we think that this man is the right man and we'll get behind him. Right now, that stamp isn't there. And I know that someone like Nimi, for example, would get behind a coach that knows what he's doing and he has seen signs, that show that the coach knows what he's doing. So after running all around and everything I've said, I don't see those signs that would indicate that Pochettino is going to be successful at Chelsea. You still see very worrying danger signs with selections, with the attitude of the team, right? The mentality of the team, the way that they carry themselves on the pitch. You still see him complaining that the players are not motivated, complaining that the players are tired, giving all kinds of excuses. When with the number of young talented boys he has in that squad, their body language should be better, output should be better, structure should be better. In fact, they should have better products than they currently have. Let me stop there for now.
Yeah, Chioma, let me ask you, like I'm still on Poch. I don't know. I know I mentioned it one time some months ago that I don't see the body language of somebody that wants things to change, that really wants to, like others just mentioned there. Sometimes they say a team is a reflection of their manager. I don't feel that energy coming from the bench of desperate attitude towards succeeding. I don't know if you agree with me. Do you think Poch really wants to be in Chelsea at this moment? Do you think there's something, that maybe he's having a regret for coming to Chelsea, or what do you think is giving the right energy from the bench, and probably that transmitting to the player? That's why you see a lot of this inconsistency. What's your take?
I mean, from where I'm standing, his body language from the bench is always that of, I have poured into these boys. I'm expecting them to do something. But Nimi gave us a point here. He said the boys are just average footballers. They are average ballers. I don't think any of them can even be compared to the team Pochettino had when he was in Tottenham. I don't think we can compare any of them. If I remember correctly, they are average footballers. Some of them are inexperienced, and it's showing. And I remember we have actually discussed the fact that Poch may not really be 100% involved in the players that have been acquired. Okay, because Poch had Son, had Dyer, had Kane, had there are people I'm trying to remember now in Tottenham when he was there.
Yeah, Dembele, Son.
Dembele. He had men
Ben Davis,
in his team. Right. Okay. And what am I even saying? Where did this guy come from?
I think Antipia was there as well. Then
Man City defender. What's his name?
Not Ake.
Not Ake. Man City defender. Where did he come from? The Man City defender, the older
Walker.
Walker, yes.
All right.
I was in Trippier. Yeah, Walker.
You remember?
Yes.
He came from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the kind of players he had to work with. And now we're talking about Sisi, Colwell. Reece James keeps breaking every week. What can he achieve with boys like this? So, see, in as much as everybody's shouting, let's take the head of the coach, let's take the head of the coach. What about the people that their business is buying these players? Is the coach involved? Because I was just going through, I can't remember whether it was Instagram or something. Now they are calling another weird name to go and buy. Instead of them to set their vision straight on players that can save them out of they are drowning. They're still calling inexperience. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm so sorry, but the body language of Pochettino right now is I'm here to help you raise an academy.
Yeah, but Chioma, if that's sorry to stop it. If that's the case, who do you blame? Because I remember it took almost 6 months from the time Pochettino was mentioned to take over Chelsea's reins to him actually being hired and starting the job. And one would have thought that these were things that he would have, talked about. So a month after he got into the job, I remember very well on our podcast here talking about it, and the audience was saying that Poch, he doesn't know who is involved in signing of these players. I expected that before he took over the job, these are conversations that would have been held. So if from day one that he joined, he's still with Chelsea not having football director, and he didn't have say in the player that you assigned, I think something is wrong, fundamentally wrong somewhere, including him, because he shouldn't have taken the job in the first place. And that's why I thought that it took long before he, took over that job.
I am going to say that from my standpoint, they actually had some conversations at the table.
Yeah.
Because with the way they were buying players, they were buying boys. Ugochukwu, Jackson. Give me their names. The only person that I actually felt like, okay, you know what, when, what's his name, Nkunku, when he came, I said, oh, this is going to be the star boy. And then he went and got injured. They were just breeding boys. They were buying people that were going to be in an academy.
In 2022, long before even while Peter was there.
I know, but I'm just saying that that's the only reasonable person I can even mention. So I think Poch was brought in because, just like Gum said, developmental job is like an academy. You're trying to raise boys for the next under 17, you understand, something great. I'm not sure that whatever they are doing is, I mean, is he saying his players are tired? Tired from doing what? What are they playing? Are they in the Champions League? What are they doing? Only job is something reasonable after the Premier League.
Like you mentioned, if you look at that Chelsea team, it can still extract 12 players that can compete and be in the top 10 of the EPL. I mean, you rave every day here for Conor Gallagher. You rave Colwill was threatening to leave Chelsea because of what he did in Brighton before he came back over the summer. You still have Thiago Silva in the squad. Raheem Sterling looks like the new Raheem Sterling. You have Kopama doing bits. And of course, we know the noise for Caicedo. I don't know what has happened to Caicedo. Is it that this is the real him, or Chelsea has infested him? Because this guy, as far as I'm concerned, was the real deal in the summer. A lot of people were even saying that Arsenal got the wrong deal. Arsenal are gone for Caicedo. So what has happened to Caicedo in just a few months? So for me, I believe Poch has a lot of questions to answer as well as the coach, because in as much as the Nini says he has average players, that they're not so bad that Chelsea cannot put together 3 wins. If these players can go and start toe-to-toe with the big guns in EPL, drawing against Arsenal, drawing against City, drawing against the Tottenham beat them, Liverpool, then that means there is something there to work with. So I believe Pochettino needs to wake up. I don't expect Chelsea to contend for the league this season, but they need to do better than they're doing. And it's not looking good at all. It's not looking good. For me, like you mentioned, it's possible that at the management level, something is wrong. He's not involved in hiring of the players. But that's surprising to me, because he just took over this job. And I believe before he took that job over, some conversations were held and some agreements were reached in terms of signing players and recruiting players. So what has happened? And if he was wrongly brought in, maybe they told him that he was going to be in charge, and they turn around and do things differently, then he probably will be leaving, and that's merry-go-round again for Chelsea looking for another manager. So that's that for Chelsea. Now let's move to Tottenham and Newcastle. Let's start with Newcastle. Newcastle is a team that did very well last season, and many thought that this season, in fact, many detractors of Arsenal felt that Newcastle was going to do better than Arsenal this season, both in Champions League and in the EPL. But it looks like they are one win today, one leg forward, and 2 steps backwards. So, Nimi, what have you made about your guys in Newcastle? I know Chioma has scores to settle with them.
Akin, can you mute yourself, please?
Yeah, wrote to me. I don't know.
Listen, can you mute yourself, please? Okay. Well, Newcastle. Excuse me. Where do I start from? They're a team that I had high hopes for. I thought that they were gonna, be flying at this time, but they are showing signs of inconsistency too. When they play at home in the EPL, it's like a war zone. They feed off the fans and they win, and they go away from home. They're very suspect, and they always have issues. I would believe that they have some injury issues. I would believe that when these players, their players come back, the goalkeeper is a big miss. The goalkeeper that they missed, that's out, Pope, that's out for 5 months. It's a big miss for them. In that central midfield too, they're missing 1 or 2 players. I expect that they will be firing. It's a good thing they're out of the Champions League, so now they have to focus on just the league, playing 1 game every week. That's going to be a good thing for them. So, so I expect much from Newcastle. Hopefully, against the game against Tottenham had gone, I think, 5 games without winning. They wanted to show that they can win. And, and they went in there and they came out swinging and they won that game. So let's see. I'm optimistic about Newcastle, really optimistic that they will find their groove back on and start winning games.
I don't know. Do you agree, Chioma? Do you agree with Nimi? Do you think Newcastle are going to continue from, are going to be back from this exile? Chioma, are you there? Osborne?
Yes, I'm here. I heard you, Reggie.
Okay.
Do I think they're going to be back from? Let me laugh. Oh. Okay, well, it's Newcastle, by the way. I mean, Newcastle of last season, threatening people, bullying people up and down, and their whole, you understand, they have this, there's a stubbornness about them that's kind of cute, and then it's not cute. It's only cute when they are not playing Arsenal. Do I think they're going to come back? Of course. Now that they have lost their spot in Champions League, they will take time to focus, and I saw Burns, by the way. I saw him by the sidelines. I think the game against AC Milan, I was so excited. So now I think Livramento would have to rest, okay, while Burns will continue. So I see them, coming up. Their boys are coming back. The guys they are missing, they are coming in. Almiron is not at his best. I don't know why. I don't know what's happening to him. Maybe he needs to be sold. He should come to. I know he can't come to us now. When we wanted him was how many years ago? So am I hoping that they get better? I hope they don't, because I still have beef with Newcastle.
Osborne, let me ask you. For me, I know I've had issues with the new Newcastle plays all through the season. I think Newcastle has what Chelsea lacks. Yeah, they have what we say ginger. They have the desire to compete. But do you really think that Newcastle has a way of playing that? Did they have? I think Newcastle is more of an energetic team than a team with a style or tactics to outplay teams. Do you think this is going to take them? Because the teams above Newcastle in the league, I don't think anybody there is playing. What's the expectation for Newcastle going into this the rest of the season after losing the Champions League spot?
You are spot on. You're spot on. They are more of an energy team than a system structured team. Your point is very valid, very clear. Look at all the other teams that are contesting for that level, at that level, for top six. All of them have structured ways of playing. Even Brighton, right? You look at Brighton, you look at Aston Villa, you look at Tottenham, you look at Arsenal, you look at Liverpool, City. You can identify the way that they play. Newcastle is more about energy, more about physicality, more about pressure and counter-attacking speed than any other thing. So you can do a bit of gra-gra. Let me use those terms. Sorry, for a minute or two. But once you're found out, then that mistake that comes with your way you play will disappear, and you start to struggle. EPL, I keep saying, is a confidence league. If your opponents are confident playing against you, they have a chance because they're going to come after you. Yeah, and there is no team, there's no club in the EPL that doesn't have players that are good enough to hurt you on any day. Be it Luton Town, be it Sheffield United, be it Bournemouth, as we have seen. On a good day, they have players good enough to hurt you. So, yeah, Newcastle are back in terms of, they're out of Europe now. They have the time to now channel all their resources to the league. But having said that, unless they get a defined way of playing, this energetic, running on gung-ho kind of style will get found out at some point. The players are going to get tired. They're going to get injured because they're just like human beings, not machines. I watched them against Milan yesterday and I shook my head. Yeah. They tried to do all that. They are running around all over the place with everybody shouting up and down, their fans screaming at the top of their lungs. Milan just, kind of absorbed all their stuff and then finished them off on the counter badly. And it wasn't a joke. It wasn't a fluke because if they hadn't scored that second goal, Milan hit the bar twice. Yeah. Tomori hit the bar. Leo hit the bar as well before Chukwueze scored. And so they can do all that to opponents that are scared of them. Those that match up to them, they have a good chance of beating them on any given day. So yes, that's where I'm starting to cast certain glances at Eddie Howe, wondering what he's doing there, and wondering what the future holds for him on that team.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I've had my suspicion about Newcastle all the time. I've not really felt that there is Eddie Howe is a coach that I know what he did in Bournemouth. I think he's too desperate to win that he's going away from what he normally does. In terms of quality, I don't know if he has a quality. I don't know, but there are both some players who have the heart to compete. He needs to put his foot down and try to, install a style of play. Look at what Ange has done in Tottenham. You can say what you want to say, but at least they have a way of playing. If you're going to play Tottenham right now, you should be ready to start a ferocious game with skill and flair attacking football. But Newcastle, like Chioma mentioned, Amiron, I just see somebody that has space running about up and down the pitch. There's nothing incisive or technical about what he does on the pitch. And this is a player that is technically gifted, that can do stuff with the ball and score goals. We saw what he did last season. So Newcastle is just all over the place. There's no structure, there's no style, you can't say this is how Newcastle plays. And look at they showed that naiveness yesterday against AC Milan, like he said, scoring one goal.
May I add? Yeah, sorry, bro. May I add that an epitome of this thing we're talking about is Bruno Guimaraes. Bruno Guimaraes is a guy that I really rated so highly. Badly wanted him at Arsenal. At this point, I am not so sure anymore because, it's not just about energy. It's not just about being able to shoot. It's about when you meet certain opponents, being disciplined enough to man the midfield, play football, keep the ball on the floor, do what needs to be done, keep it simple. You know, the guy rolls all over the place way too much.
And he can actually play football.
Yeah. Expends all his energy. At the end of the day, you know, his team loses. You know, so that thing doesn't make any sense. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. We look at Arsenal and United at this moment. United, I don't know where to start on this one. Maybe you should lead us on this United stuff. I don't even know what to say anymore. One time you're talking about the coach, it looks like it's the problem. Then the next minute the players come and tell you, hey, forget about the coach, we are not ready. You know, the next minute there's a decision of the upstairs that shows that the directors are not ready to, you know, it's one thing or the other from United every day. And the pitch, they can't do the business. You know, right now they are 27th and 27 points, 10 points away from Liverpool leading the table and 6th on the table. I don't know. What have you made? What's your, I don't know. And this is Newcastle, and Newcastle is seventh behind them. Two teams that I remember at the beginning of the season, a lot of people felt that United was going to do well in Europe and challenge for the title this season, considering what they did last year and the players that they signed. Amrabat, I was told, was going to help United win the league, coming to combine with Onana and Højlund. Here we are, not knowing where to place United at the moment. I don't know, what has been your take, and what did you see on the games? United losing at Old Trafford 3-0 to Bournemouth. I don't know when anybody can make sense of that.
Yeah, for Manchester United fans, there weren't signs for Manchester United. And I've said several times here that I feel United, there are moments where they are given a false sense of security. You know, for example, the Wolves win at the start of the season, the Chelsea win. They shouldn't have won that. And they didn't play well, yet they won, and everyone was happy with them. You know, with the Everton win, you know, recently, they were not impressive in that game. They won, everyone was happy. They didn't care about how they played. The Chelsea win. A better Chelsea side, not because I'm a Chelsea fan, a better Chelsea side wins that game easily. Chelsea were atrocious, and yet United barely won that game. And better, you know, again, Chelsea side will win that game. You know, there's a false sense of security. Everyone is happy that, you know, the 3 points are got and no one cares about what else happened that they played. Bournemouth, you know, Manchester United in this game, Bournemouth came in with a very good strategy right at the start of the game. Yeah, the New United had a problem playing out the back because, you know, Onana, his confidence is a little shaky, passing out the back. He doesn't have players he can trust to receive those balls. So anytime they got onto the ball, the ball, you know, they kick it straight out of the play. They kicked it out of the play near the corner flag, and they set up 3 forwards. The 3 forwards, if you observe, were pushing on the United defenders constantly, so no one could advance, forcing United into mistakes. If you observe that game, Bruno Fernandes was not himself. You know, Bruno Fernandes was making mistakes, and his pass to Scott McTominay, they took advantage of that. In other instances, they were bullied. Manchester United were bullied every single opportunity. We have to give credit to that Bournemouth coach. I know when he was appointed and they fired O'Neill, people were crying foul, but that man has, you know, has done wonders. Luke Shaw playing as a center back, we saw his frailties, his height. You know, Luke Shaw was bullied in the box, and then Amrabat and Scott McTominay were bullied for that corner. The third goal, it was not just defensive that United have problems. Offensively too. Nobody's talking about this. We talk about defensively. I don't know if you guys watch WhatsApp. I mean, stats, you see 15 goals Manchester United conceded in the Champions League. There are a lot of issues offensively too.
I'm telling you.
There's a lot of issues, not because the players can't score, but because the decisions that certain players are making at critical situations. We could point on to that game that they played. There was I don't know if you guys watched the game where Dalot had Højlund at the box. All he needed to do was pass that ball to him. But he had to shoot from an impossible, he had to take the shot from an impossible angle. He could have squared that ball to Holland and put the ball in the back of the net. That is a terrible decision. And you can see Marcus Rashford is not even in his best form. And you see, and I'm a stats man. If you look at the stats, Manchester United have a 7.4% shot conversion rate in the Premier League. Guess what? That is the lowest in the Premier League. Lower than Luton Town, lower than Sheffield United, lower than Burnley. That's serious. These are three teams that are being marked for relegation. When you have a lower shot conversion rate than these three teams, then there are serious problems in your squad. Serious problems in your squad. The squad looks unbalanced. The squad looks like there will be need for some players to be shipped out. As we could hear, I don't know if you guys heard it, Ten Hag is looking at 5 or 6 players leaving. Manchester United selling them off. So as we go in through this, I think at this point, Manchester United are out of the Champions League. They're out of the Carling Cup. They just have the league to play for. And in the next weeks to come, I already said my prediction, Manchester United would not be in the top 4 of the league. I expect Manchester United to finish at least 6th in the table where they are right now. They have to not only defend well, but they have to pick up their conversion rate. And conversion rate goals win you games. And right now, Holland is no goal in the Premiership. That is your 70 million pound player. So he needs to be scoring goals. And Ten Hag is under pressure. I heard they are looking at Potter to come and replace him. So we're watching, we're seeing, and we're hoping and looking at the game. We would always give critical analysis of the games.
Yeah, we have Rotimi on the show for the first time. He's a debutant. I don't know what's going on with his camera. Rotimi, can you turn on your camera so our viewers can see you? He's also an Arsenal fan, all the way from Lagos. Yeah, turn on your camera.
My camera is a little bit it's a little bit not clear, so that's why you're not seeing me. And being the first time, I'm not used to the Zoom, so I've been trying to do some settings, but I've not been able to get it. But I'll be able to package it because I'm still trying to understudy the whole system too.
Okay, bro. Thank you very much. Good to see you.
So I'm still trying to understudy everything, and I believe that the next time that I join, I'll be able to contribute.
Yeah, good to have you. Thank you for coming on the show, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Osborne, let me ask you a question. I know some years back we used to have coaches sometimes resign their job. Do you think is as a situation in United now, is that one that Erik ten Hag should probably look at himself and say, you know what, I am not, I don't think I should continue in this position and just walk away? Or is it okay for him to think that he can fix United?
It's a tricky one. Those things don't happen anymore.
Yeah.
I think that the only person that I've heard that happened was Lopetegui last season with Wolves. Mainly because he expected some more investment that wasn't coming through. And so he told them he couldn't continue with the squad that he had. And there were differences in opinion and all that with the owners.
He resigned,
and then
he
resigned. So
resign no more.
Yeah, managers don't resign anymore because, first of all, if you do that in these days of social media, the person's reputation may be damaged forever because it will be deemed as cowardice. It will be deemed as, unless you're a larger than life, you have a larger than life image that people like Mourinho, for example, have. They can do that kind of thing and get away with it. But you can count on one hand how many coaches that can do that without coming out of it really, really negatively. So Ten Hag is still building his career. It's not how many coaches have had a chance to work at Manchester United. Perhaps the club with the biggest profile, highest profile in the world. So if you've got that opportunity, you have to stick in there, hang in there, do whatever needs to be done until, if they decide to get rid of you, of course, you will smile to the bank because you have to be paid for being fired. So I don't expect him to walk away. It would be stupid of him. I think that with the kind of character he is, he looks like a fighter. He looks like a very conservative and very structured and strict manager, which is causing problems for him in the dressing room. Unfortunately, every hand is not on deck to wipe out that culture, the dressing room culture and the boardroom culture there that just uses certain elements to undermine the coach. You know, he's up against it. It's a big battle for him. But then where my concern for him lies most is on the pitch performances. We're not seeing the performances on the pitch, right? Again, ties in with what we're talking about Newcastle. At least Newcastle, you can see some end product. You can see things happening for their players with all the attack and the physicality and everything. They're achieving results. United are losing games that you never expect them to lose. There's no clear pattern of play. There's no clear definition of roles in terms of who's going to play and who's not going to play. Certain popular players have been dropped. Varane being an example. I do not get why Varane is on the bench for Johnny Evans, for example, or even Maguire. But it is what it is. So yeah, Ten Hag, I don't expect him to walk away. Just answering your question.
Okay, let's move on to Arsenal because I mean Arsenal has had a roller coaster week as well after surprisingly struggling to win Luton. They went ahead and lost to Newcastle, although with their stories behind that loss. But I mean, it's still a loss. It's 5 years from now, nobody will remember how it happened. You know, losing their first spot to Liverpool, and it's now a fight to get back on top of the league. I don't know, Chioma, what did you make of the Luton game? It was a very dramatic one. Many
Aston Villa, not Luton. Oh, okay, you're talking about Luton game.
Yeah,
okay,
Luton
okay.
4-3. Then we went ahead and lost to Aston Villa after the Luton game. You know, so many feel that the Luton game showed the mark of champions coming back. You know, losing position, then coming back to draw, and then getting that win at the last minute by Declan Rice. And many say that's what champions do, while others, we are looking at it as a sign of a crack on the wall. I don't know, where do you place that game, and of course the Aston Villa game?
Luton game was very unexpected, very unexpected. And on my part, yeah, I know it's very unusual to say that, you know, an Arsenal team underestimated their opponent. I think the word I'm going to use is they were just comfortable. I saw a level of comfort because, you know, there were a few mistakes, you know, I kept yelling. There were a few messes up there, you know, right there. They would score, these guys would come back. And that game was very, because I mean, all of us have been talking about Luton, how teams have handled them. You know, they just barely got a win the other time. And now they come and they are playing Arsenal. These guys played that game with a certain mindset that if Chelsea players, I'm so sorry, I'm not banting now. Like, if the Chelsea players we have right now ever gets that mentality and play a game like that. I mean, they're going to get the best out of themselves. I've never seen Luton from that light ever. I mean, for a moment, I was sure we're going to draw that game. But you know, what do you say about champions? The comeback, you know, not living through our mistakes and picking up what we left and making greatness out of it. So that's how I feel about that game was. But I didn't see that as a crack. No, I didn't see it as a crack. It was something that needed to happen to push us to where we're supposed to be. And then moving over to that Aston Villa game, that Aston Villa game was so annoying. I know some fans, people would be like, some fans are always used to making excuses why they lost the game and stuff like that. But this is not me making excuses. This is me saying that something was definitely wrong with that game, from the refereeing to the annoying nature of the VAR again and everything. That game to me was just a bookie game. Believe me, it was a bookie game. So I've said all I have to say.
Yeah, Rotimi,
there was nothing.
Go ahead.
There was nothing anybody could have done to that game for that game to go either way. You saw the refereeing; it was messy. The penalties, the should I say the lackadaisical attitude of the referee. He was just not in that game to give us any benefit of the doubt. Nothing for us. Seriously.
Yeah, the one that surprised me was the speed at which he disallowed the Harvard, the Nketiah's goal, you know, calling a foul on Harvard. I was wondering the kind of microscopic eye that he had to have spotted that there was a foul there from, you know, seeing through a crowd of bodies in front of him to where the action was. Yeah, I knew something was wrong somewhere. And obviously we have seen graphics, videos and stuff on that incident, and it shows that there wasn't, if there was a foul, it was actually a foul on an Aston Villa player. If Arsenal had missed that chance, actually VAR should have reviewed it for a penalty, possibly penalty for Arsenal. But on the other hand, he went ahead and disallowed the goal. Rotimi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Arsenal went from a very good defensive record to conceding 4 in 1 week. You know, playing against Aston Villa, conceding 1 and 3 against Luton. Do you think there is something needs to be done in the Arsenal defense? Recalling that last season is believed that Arsenal lost the league because of their defensive threat. Is after we lost, of course, Tomiyasu and Saliba.
To me, I will say one thing Arsenal need is not the issue. Is to me, I'm not seeing the issue from the defense aspect of it. I'm seeing it from the attacking aspect of it. That Arsenal still need intimidating striker, a striker in the front that can command and that can intimidate the opponent, that every opponent will be afraid of. Arsenal is still Arsenal that we see used to know that they are afraid whenever they need to take their chances, that they are afraid. So this time around, for us to win the league, I will say we need, and we don't have issue with the defense. We need an intimidating striker, a striker that can strike fears in the mind of every opponent. And for me, I will say I'm comfortable with the position we are in right now. We don't need to put ourselves at the top of the table right now, but we just need to be close so that by the time all our injured players are back, and by the time it's getting tougher, our guys can rise up to the occasion. But now we don't need. There's one of my friends today that will say, Arsenal has started that thing. I say no. I like where we are now. Let those guys not get overhyped. Let us be doing our thing and keep close to the top of the table, so that at the dying minute we can get it done and claim the league.
Okay, I think I agree with you. I've had a conversation here as well in the past episode. I don't know if you watch these videos, many here are saying that Arsenal needs a striker. But for me, I differ a little bit. But I kind of feel now that, yes, we need a striker. But I still believe that Jesus, the way he plays, brings out the best in our players. If anything, I think Nketiah is not going to be, cannot be a plan B that will take Arsenal to where they want to be. Jesus can be our main striker, but we still need somebody that can compete with him at that level. I think Nketiah is too comfortable being the second to Jesus, and he knows that, well, every now and then he's going to get a game. Whether I don't see that drive, I don't see that, like you said, that intimidating effort from Nketiah. And when the chips are down and they are back at the wall, I don't think he's that player who can call on to come and make things happen. Every now and then he does it, but I don't think the consistency that which he does it is good enough to take us where we want to be. Yeah, Ogum, do you have anything to add on the Arsenal situation before we move
on? Nothing else. I thought it's gonna be up and down. Arsenal are a great team, well on course to compete for the league this season, but they are not quite the City levels yet. But without being City levels, they have the levels to win the league. It's going to be a steady train. What I like about the team is that they are steady. You're getting consistent performances from the players week in, week out. Some games may prove more difficult than the others. Referee decisions will influence one thing or the other. But as long as the players are switched on, giving it their all, and you can see that every week, I'm good. So, yes, in spite of conceding 4 goals and losing one game losing one game and drawing one in the past week, I still believe in the team. I still believe we're on course.
Yeah, I hear you. I think, yeah, if anything, Arsenal should be able to challenge. I don't think Liverpool can win the league. I forgot about the club effect. I don't think they have the defensive and the central midfield qualities to sustain their charge. Yes, up front sometimes they have that fire to put teams under pressure. But when the Chiefs are down, I don't think Liverpool has what it takes to win the league this season. And having said that, City doesn't look like the City that we know. I know many say that's how they usually start, but I don't think I've ever seen City on the 4th position in the league in the last 5 years, regardless of what our season it is. So there's a chance there for Arsenal. Chelsea doesn't look like a team that's going to bounce back. Newcastle, we know, is faltering and going to continue to falter. The United doesn't look like they're ready this season. So if there's any year that, like I've said from the beginning of the season, that Arsenal has a chance of winning the league, is this season. So, and I expect Arteta and they to do something in this January to try to strengthen that squad, especially going forward. Considering the fact that defensively, we're going to have Julian Timber come back. Of course, Thomas Partey is back to training, though we don't expect him to play going by history throughout the season. But if you can give us 10, 15 games from now to the end of the season, that will be huge for Arsenal as well. So adding numbers going forward probably will do the magic and get Arsenal over the line. And of course, this also goes into the Champions League. Arteta has shown that he now understands how to manage the squad playing midweek in Champions League. So we pray that the route that they're going to go after the draw on Monday probably will be favorable, and we can see how far the team can go in that competition. Many have placed Arsenal in the top 5, teams to win the Champions League behind Real Madrid, City, Bayern Munich, probably Inter Milan, and then of course Arsenal. So we see how that goes. Week 16 of the season, Chelsea hosting Sheffield United, City hosting Crystal Palace. Of course, Newcastle going to play at home to Fulham. Arsenal will be playing Brighton. Liverpool is hosting United, and Brentford will be at home to Villa. I don't know how you guys see these games. Chelsea, Sheffield United, one would think that Chelsea will run away with this one, but considering what's been going on with the team in the past few weeks, I don't know. Chioma, what do you expect to be the outcome of that game?
Chelsea, Sheffield, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Sheffield are actually at the bottom where they are using themselves to clean a couple, right? And Chelsea, as we know, they're almost there, very close to them, holding hands. For the sake of everybody in that Chelsea team, I hope they get a win. For the sake of my favorites, because I have a few. Because Sheffield, they are not, all of us know that Sheffield are not really standing on their 10 toes at the moment. We don't know when they are going to stand. So I'm hoping that Chelsea gets a win. So for me, I see Chelsea getting a win.
Yeah, but Chelsea has struggled this season against teams who play low blocks. These teams that don't have what it takes to attack and come out and play football. So do you expect that it will be different this time?
No, not different. It will be for the sake of their billions of dollars, whatever it is.
Do you share the same thought? Do you think Chelsea is going to win this one?
Who are Chelsea playing against?
Sheffield United.
Sheffield.
At the bridge.
Yeah, I think Chelsea will win. I think Chelsea will win. I think they will bounce back.
Of course.
Sheffield United have their new coach. Wilder is back, and he managed to get a good result for them last weekend. So they have the new manager bounce, which you have to be very careful about. Again, the EPL is a very tricky league. So with that new manager bounce, they will come with confidence, knowing that Chelsea are reeling right now with low confidence. So it will be up to Chelsea to set the tone. If you're going to win, if they don't score within the first 15 minutes of that game, it might become a big struggle for them because Sheffield United are a disciplined side. Their coach is an old, smart man that will get them well prepared to face Chelsea. But I think that Chelsea will be able to get an early goal and go on to win the game.
Yeah, Nimi, right on time. We are looking at the games coming up this weekend, starting with Chelsea at home to Sheffield United. My guys here, Chioma, your lady feels that Chelsea is going to run away with 3 points in this one. Osborne shared the same thoughts, but I know that this season Chelsea has struggled against teams, especially at the bridge, that play low blocks. I don't know what your expectation is going to be in that game.
Look at them. I'm looking at Chioma and Osborne. Chelsea will win. I'm just looking at you. Again, Chelsea has made a man that was all bossed us a little bit of ground. Again, I don't know what kind of Chelsea team will show up. Again, you look at a team where, again, Pochettino has no style. And I know Sheffield United are going to come sit on the low block again. We have issues. Who's going to strike? Who's going to get your shot in Chelsea? Who's going to give us the goals? Is it the Kabu striker that we have there? Is it Broja that play one, go 20 games down? Who is going to give us the goal? Reggie, looking at Sheffield United, you saw how they played last week. They lost last week, but they have this new manager. Their manager is back that brought them into the Premiership. There's always this new manager bounce. Players that were out of the team coming and trying to show you are supposed to be in the team. What is Chelsea fighting for? Are there really anything out there to fight for? Remember, one thing you guys are forgetting that you don't understand with Chelsea is this. With Arsenal players, they have 2 years on their contract, 3 years on their contract. How many years contract does Chelsea players have? Do you guys remember?
8.
They are signed to 8, 9 years.
Comfortable.
Yes,
The bag is secured.
There's nothing that you can get from a player that is comfortable, that knows next year I'll be eating crab meat with Ishewu. There's nothing. I'm comfortable. There's no challenge. There's nothing.
The bag is secured.
Bag is secure. So what is Mudryk playing? What is he running for, playing for, when he has 7 more years guaranteed in his contract? So, my brothers, it's really hard. It's really hard. Don't know, but we just have to watch and see.
Yes,
I would come here and I would say, hey, I'm just to round it up. I'm hoping. I think Chelsea will sneak. Don't quote me on this, but Chelsea will sneakishly win at least 2-1. At least 2-1.
okay, we'll move to City at home in fourth position, 33 points, 3 points off the 4 points off the league leaders at home to Crystal Palace, who is sitting on the 16 points so far in the season. But we know that Crystal Palace sometimes can be a boogie team to most of these big teams. I don't know what you guys think. With the City that the way City is conceding goals with reckless abandon. Rotimi, if you're there, what's your expectation on this game? Do you think City will win this one and try to come back to winning ways and reclaim their position on the league?
Okay, so it's going to be a very difficult game. Knowing Crystal Palace of what they used to play for, they have a lot of black guys in their team, and I know it's going to be a very tough game for City. For City, technically this time around, they are going to win. They are playing for pride now, so they must do everything and make sure that they win, because any team draw or losing the match, we take them down. We really bring down their morale. So this time around, it's a win for them. Definitely a win for them, but it's going to be a very difficult game.
Okay, I hear you. Osborne, I know that many can say that the motivation level City is that after winning the treble and winning the EPL for so many years. Do you think that the noises outside football with regards to the charges against them in terms of FFP and all that is affecting what we are seeing in City? Though I know history has it, they don't really start well most of the time, but they don't start with doesn't mean they don't win games or they concede a lot of goals. So they just happen that they don't play the synthetic football we know them to play at the beginning of the season. Then after they will pick it up. But this time around, they are losing games, conceding goals, and fourth on the table after 16 games. This is not the City that we have known the last 7 years. What's your take? Do you think is what do you think is the reason behind this situation at City at the moment?
I think that the off-field issues are affecting them. I want to agree. You can see there's a bit of distraction, the level of intensity, the level of concentration, the fluidity in their play isn't as it used to be. There's just something off. I also think that in the dressing room, they've bought players that haven't quite matched up to the levels expected for City. With the way they play, with what they bring to every game, defensively and offensively, it's not easy for any player to just come in and quickly adapt, like that. So that is the tools that they brought is one of the reasons. The off-field stuff, those things have refused to go away. Some clubs, Everton has already been punished for something related to that. I know that the players are wondering, okay, what's going to happen to us one way or the other? And I don't think Guardiola has any power over, how the players react or what happens at the highest level for the club. So yeah, the distraction is there. They are not quite matching where they were before. And I also think that honestly, when you've won the treble that no club has won except it has one or two, then the motivation levels kind of come down a bit, right? And that's part of what has happened this season. They've won it all, so they're like, hey, what else do you have to win apart from the quadruple, which is near impossible these days? So yeah, thank you. That's what I feel about the situation.
Chioma, back on your desk, your man Newcastle playing at home to Fulham, 7th on the table, 26 points at home to Fulham. Do you see them bouncing back on this one with this one, or the story the roller coaster continues?
Bouncing baby boys, eh?
Before you go, mind you, I'm not going to forget this. I know you and others they don't like Jolinton. I don't either. But that guy scored some goal of the season contender in the Champions League yesterday.
Fluke.
I don't know if you saw that goal.
One time. I saw it, very beautiful, but it was a fluke. Let's not even shine all the lights on Johnny. He's the head of the Gra team. Do you not see that there is something refreshing about the Fulham team lately?
Yeah.
They are something about them. I can say it's the whole it will be the vibe and energy and all of that, and then they have a where is this our Niger boy that is in that Fulham? Is it Fulham that he is?
Yeah,
is he a defender or something?
Yeah, the central defender. What's his name again? What's that guy's name? Let me see. I'll find it.
We're not talking about Bassi. Is it Bassi we're talking about?
No, the tall defender. Yeah, he's very good with the ball onto his feet.
Is it Semi Ajayi? Semi?
No, I'm gonna find him now. Let me see.
Yes. I think that game is a draw. I think. That's what I think. Because let me tell you what I think, why I think so. There's something fresh about Fulham, which all of us are seeing.
There's Calvin Bassett, as the defender, We also have
Calvin Bassett.
The person I was thinking about was Tosi, but he is there as an English player. I don't think he plays for Nigeria. But
no, he's not. No, I was thinking there's this other guy, but I can't remember his name anyway. So for me, Newcastle, Fulham, that's a draw game. But at the back of my mind, I actually want Fulham to win because they are starting to look good. They are starting to fight. They are starting to get their heads in the game. Yeah, of course, I'm aware. So yeah, I'm very much aware that Iwobi is there. So Newcastle, I hope that the girls go. Sorry?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me, Reggie?
Yes. I can hear you.
I think I lost you.
I can hear you.
Oh yeah, I think I lost you somewhere, somehow.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. I can hear you.
Reggie, can you hear me?
Yes. Nimi, can you hear me? Let me be sure it's from my side.
Yeah, Reggie, I can hear you. Chioma, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm just losing you. I think the network is a bit shaky. I don't know why. So, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Nimi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Maybe you're the one not hearing us.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. I was just saying that I'm expecting a draw and also a win from Fulham. Because I need Newcastle to keep going down until they are tired.
Well, I expect Newcastle to win this one. I expect that they will win, but of course, we already know that EPL is a league that anything can happen. Like you said, that is Chioma, Fulham are beginning to look a little bit better and more ambitious and more confident on the field of play. They attempt to try to win games and play football. Though they have a reputation as a team that likes to play football, it might be a difficult game for Newcastle, but I expect them to run away with 3 points on this one. I don't think that Fulham can go to Newcastle and get 3 points. With the best they can get from that game, for me, should be a draw. I know you're talking more from your heart, not from your head on this one. Yeah, we move to Arsenal, second on the table, hosting Brighton in the weeks. Is it week 16 or 17 of the season? Nimi, let me start with you. What's your expectation? We know Brighton is another team too that has not really lived up to the expectation many have for them this season. De Zerbi started the season with all the hype. Everybody was the Zerbi, but it looks like he is not living up to that bill. What's your expectation on that game, Mimi? Looking in from outside.
Well, you know, when you said the Zerbi hasn't lived up to the hype, I'll ask you, the hype placed, is it placed by the media or placed by reality? I'm fascinated with stats. I'm fascinated with numbers. Brighton is a small team with so much injuries, selling their best players when the season started. They were going to play the UEFA Cup. There's a small side playing the UEFA Cup where you have to travel. And if you watch, this is a game I think Brighton will lose. Traditionally, based on statistics, any match that when they have traveled or they've played a UEFA Cup game and they come back to the league, they lose. They've had that, as a point. Arsenal is wounded. Arsenal after that performance against Aston Villa, where good evening, ladies and gentlemen, really showed them, what they were, what they were missing, in him as coach. But at the end of it, I think Arsenal will be too much for Brighton. Brighton has shown a little bit. You're right. When the season started, everybody felt De Zerbi was a toast of the town. He was the man of the moment, and things have a little bit cooled down. Things have a little bit stabilized. Brighton will be looking to counter. They beat Arsenal at the Emirates last season, and they will be trying to get that going again. So I expect a tough game, but I expect at least a 2-goal victory for Arsenal. My only issue with Arsenal at this point right now is the issue of the goalkeeping department. I don't think Raya has covered himself in glory. That department looks shaky in that department. And also Zinchenko, I don't know what's going on with Zinchenko. This past few games that I've watched, I'm a little bit skeptical of his inclusion in that team, but I believe Arsenal will be the firepower of Arsenal will be too much for Brighton this season for this game. So I expect Arsenal to go to beat Brighton and beat Brighton again this weekend.